this is an example of where we sowed. This is actually AgriLife 2 down the middle here where I'm pointing. And this is the natural weed growth that we got by doing absolutely nothing. So it does make you think at first when you're using cover crop mixes, why bother? Because if we hadn't touched this land, we'd have had this much growth right through. But it's necessary to be a little bit patient. This establishes more slowly than the native weeds, but it carries on much later. So it gives us the benefit of late growth for the predator insects. We normally sow a mix that contains grain, rye or triticale, depending on the circumstance. We always have a brassica in there, even though we've got rhamnas because they flower differently. And then a legume, for example, vetch or lupins. We've learned that we need to be very, very careful with the amount of grain we use because it's more competitive than the other plants and will actually compete out a lot of your other cover crop species.
Sorry, Robert, can I take you back
Yes.
to
Yes.
this photo that's on the screen right now?
Yeah.
This weeds, to my eye, looks quite extreme. So I've got two questions. The one, aren't they damaging the small trees there? And secondly, what is the timing of cutting down those weeds? Do you want them to reseed themselves, or what is the timing around that?
Well, this timing, I would guess, is probably early June. And that time of year, we're not particularly concerned about weed competition in the orchard because it's very soft annual weeds mostly, and the tree is in effect not doing very much. So we get that. What we then do is, if we look back at this slide, for example, we use this machine then to mow this part down before we start putting down our spring nitrogen when you don't actually want that weed competition. And then the beauty of this is that then this middle section is nicely developed and basically then takes over.
All right, before we go to the next slide, Robert, sorry. When you do your spring nitrogen, do you burn down those weeds after you cut them down, or is cutting them down enough to kill them and they don't grow back with your spring nitrogen?
Johan, generally speaking, they don't come back much at all. But we go in and we spot spray with a burn down if necessary.